The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. Now, before everyone freaks out and says, we're back, we got to be real, okay? You got to get back above basically this level here around 17,420 locally. And you have a little bit of resistance there as well, like 17,407. But if you get back into this range here, right here, you could start moving quick, right? We saw it happen. We lost that level, 1795, 18K. You fell straight down like 600, 500 points, right? So again, we started getting back in that range and good things can happen. Like, let's make that really, really, really clear. Okay, let's clean that up. So if you start to get back in this area on the Nasdaq in particular, good things can happen back in that. It's a very illiquid area, okay? Things to be looking at. ES, we look at ES, what's happening here. You're bouncing 5,000, trying to push back up. You need to get back to around, 50.92, 51.30. That's your levels there as well. So that's where we're operating. You see the support levels coming in here as well via Lux Algo. So again, very important to remember that. Also, if you're interested in the Lux Algo indicators, the link is down below. Code OD40 for 40% off. Make sure you check them out. So that's where we're at right there on futures, etc. Okay, now important things to know going into this week. Number one, let's go into earning whispers real quick, right? Thought I already had this pulled up. Guess I do not. Really quick. This week, okay, we got Tesla tomorrow after close. Facebook, Wednesday, IBM after close. Thursday is the big day. You have Microsoft, Google, Intel. That's going to be big. Wednesday is going to be pretty big as well with Meta. Don't get me wrong. That's going to be an important day. So things are definitely ramping up. Tesla's probably going to miss earnings like they have for the past 13 earnings. I don't know. But anyways, not going to be that exciting. It's going to be really Wednesday and Thursday when things heat up. So definitely watching that. Our investing calendar. Again, the biggest thing here on the investing calendar. We have some new home sales. Got some data tomorrow. But nothing crazy until we get into PCE. Okay, PCE comes out. You have GDP on Thursday. A little bit of importance. Don't get me wrong. And then you have PCE prices or core PCE on Friday. Very big. The Fed's biggest measure of inflation, right? So next to super core or whatever they're considering the other one there. So that's the big thing there, okay? Also, too, my Twitter link is down below if you want to check us out. All of our charts, we post all that stuff there so you can tap in. So, yeah, that's where we're at on futures. I want to make sure we understand that very clearly. Now, SPY, what's happening here? Now, we looked for that push down to 497.5. You got a little bit below, but we held it here, got back above it. That's a good note there. It's a good start, right? So far, you're bouncing, okay? And we're going to talk about why we're bouncing here in a second. QQQ, bouncing, trying to get back over 421.5, okay? So that's what we talked about, coming back into that level, what we were looking for. Now, why are we bouncing? What's happening here, okay? It's all based on this, right? Everyone wants to get upset and they want to say this is not what matters. I don't care what anyone says. This is what is driving the market right now, okay? Israel, Iran, the end. Keep it simple, right? All we got to think about. So right now, there's some hype about potentially this getting more serious to Israel, Iran, but there's a lot of feelings that this has de-escalated and it's slowed down. Once we saw the deceleration of what was happening with Iran and Israel, the market found some buyers. Now, what I will say is although today we had a decent bit of a bounce, I don't think it's anything yet. Your volume was still 66 million. I don't think that's enough to justify a reversal or a buyer stepping in just yet. You need to see more. You could see more, but we're not there yet. So that's why I'm not jumping the gun, just yet. Again, what we're looking at here, though, let's be really clear. Get back above our key levels here. There's Qs, you need to get back above 421.8, get major level. Nasdaq in particular, though, get back above 1747, and you are cooking. You are good. You are happy. You're back in that illiquid area. You can start getting back with those buyers back into 1765, maybe even higher. So those are things you're looking for. But I'm telling you, no matter what anyone says, what's happening in the Middle East is one of the biggest factors of what's moving the market. Okay. Nothing happened this morning that's saying that, oh, we're cutting rates, nothing like that. None of that agenda and story has changed. Okay. The only thing that happened overnight or over the weekend was a de-escalation or a slowdown with the progression of what's happening in the Middle East. Don't care what anyone says. That's the facts. Okay. The dollar. Dollar is still trending sideways. It's probably going to trend sideways until PCE makes the most sense. Going into 30-year yields, trending down a little bit, but nothing really, just sitting near highs. Again, not a good sign. Bitcoin pushing up after halving, go figure. Yeah, Bitcoin is really bullish in my opinion as well. Oil is backtracking to the downside. You want to see oil get back below the 200 SMA. If it does that, you look really good for some downside, and that will help inflation data. So things to consider there. Gold dipping down a little bit as well. Again, as the market, pushes back up, gold's dipping down. So all these things kind of logically lining up as well. But the biggest thing I want to say is we don't want to jump the gun yet. What do we want to wait for? Let me be really clear. Before I go into any equities, got to get back above 17.42. Over 17.42, you look good. Buyers could step in easily back into 17.65 easily. Okay, that's what's on my top of my list of what I'm watching. Don't overcomplicate it. It's right in front of us. Pay attention to that. Okay, that's the biggest thing. Now, let's actually just go into some equities, what we're looking at there. No point in me taking too long. But before I do that, gotta give a special shout out to the sponsor of the channel, Moo. Check them out. It's who I use as my broker. I'm gonna have more content coming from these guys as well here on the channel, so make sure you tap in. The link is down below. They're my personal favorite, who I'm using, and I'll have a lot more options, information, stuff coming out here on the channel. New sections of the videos I'll be able to finally tap into. Thank you to those guys. Check it out. The link is down below. Okay, so again, going this week, anything that I mentioned with earnings, like I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not holding through earnings. Like, there's nothing on this list that I'm like, okay, I want to hold through earnings. I'm going to risk it. Okay. There's not one thing. If I had gun to my head, though, you guys love the gun to my head reference. Like, what would you do if you had to? The stock I like the most on earnings with the most potential upside, or with the most potential of getting some good news out there, probably Meta or Micro. Man, I mean, honestly, it's probably... I think it's Google. Actually, I don't think it's Microsoft. I think it's Google. I think Meta and Google. Meta, with what they're doing with the AI, is I think they like to say the big words everyone likes. AI, all of that. They love it. Okay. Google, they're finally taking the right step with AI. They're partnering with Apple. Okay. Their Google search has been doing tremendously better, right? Worth mentioning. So their Google AI part. So those things are all headed in the right direction. So Google could really surprise us. Their earnings have been trash the last few times. I wouldn't be shocked to see a good earnings finally. Okay, the big partnership, AI's in the right direction. Good start. Meta, they just do well. Like, they just continually do well. Some of the most data probably of any company out there in the world, top tier as far as consumer data. So worth mentioning as well. Okay, so that's where we're at. If we reject here off of 17.4, 17.4, 17.45, your target is the 200 estimated to the downside. Okay, get that out of the way. Okay, let's go into stocks, equities. Now, some big talk here. We wanted to hold 771. So you had a little dip on the day, you bounced off that level, and boom, you're just moving back up. Almost 40, 50 points of upside. Really nice. NVIDIA still looks decent. I'm going to tell you that right now. It doesn't look terrible. One thing I am watching, those previous lows there, you're kind of rejecting off of 802. You get back above 802, I think you could push into 820, 824 easily. So something that I'm definitely watching for is getting back above 802. A lot of buyers are stepping in here. Not a surprise, though, for me. I'm going to tell you that right now. Not a surprise to see buyers stepping on a name like NVIDIA, because I'm telling you, again, as far as the broad market of seeing opportunity, hedge funds are rushing. They are flying at NVIDIA and these chip names, because the future of AI, and that's where we're headed as, a world, whether you like it or not, NVIDIA dominates the game. If you want to go into AI, you got to play with NVIDIA. It is what it is, okay? So, again, keep them on your watch list. NVIDIA down here, opportunity. Next name, Apple. So, Apple's interesting. So, we have our levels marked out here, okay? So, you got back above our level 165.7. You retest, and you're kind of sitting there bouncing on the day. Well, this is just out. B of A, Apple pick, okay? This just came out. Apple's named the top 2024 pick ahead of Bank of America key earnings. Okay, number one name out there. I've been saying, when it comes to Apple, I don't really think options are the greatest idea. And it's funny I said that, and then you bounced literally like $10, which options would have paid huge. But with Apple, you have to play the game of long term here, in my head. That's my opinion. If I'm looking at Apple, I'm buying a very cheap valuation of the company. It's that simple. Like, I'm buying it as every other tech company is ripping and Apple's not. Okay. Now, yeah, we're getting a pullback on the broad market, but even with that, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google were all pushing all-time highs, and Apple was doing nothing here since December. Like, that's you're getting value, and that's just as simple as it is. Now, is it going to 100% in a month or two? No, it's not going to. I can almost guarantee my left nut that it's not going to. But is it valuable? Is it good? Is it something that like you're getting at a deal? And that's where I look at it and say, yes, you are. Now, could you dip further? 100%. That's why I'm not even interested in options on Apple yet, because you've been moving so trash. But I do think that the value proposition is there. Okay, so keep that in mind. AMD. Now, AMD, I want to trade it. I really do. Like, I want to go long on it. I really, really, really do. And today you had a nice bounce from like 147 and your key level like 149, 150. I wanted to trade it, but I couldn't do it. I think there is just too high of a chance that you come down and test your 200 SMA. And maybe I'm being greedy. I don't know. Maybe I'm being greedy. But if we look at the daily chart here on AMD, dude, you have tested your 200 SMA and got great reactions off of it over the past like year. I mean, even going back to like 2021, 2020. I mean, the 200 SMA was beautiful. You know, the daily 200 was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I got to put my money on the test of that level, right? And so in the short-term trading, like I expect $12 more of downside. Maybe I'm being greedy. I don't know. But that's where I'm looking at. Stock point of view, I think it's an awesome company to own, personally. I still think it's valuable. I think they're a little bit less ambitious with their price targets compared to NVIDIA. But still, I like them a lot. Keep them on top of your radar as well. Big fan. I like AMD as well. Good name. Amazon. Again, a lot of these names, I talked about the downside, the breaking down. But I don't know how we're not discussing the opportunity again that's in front of us, right? You know, Amazon 172 major level, came back into our level here from Lux Algo around 174. I'm not saying to start, I'm not hammering dated longs yet, like on anything besides like I have like a few Robin Hoods and Targets left, but like that's about it. I am being patient here. You need to understand this is going to be very important. Earnings, okay? We saw this with the last earnings that came in. Remember, the market was kind of stagnated. We couldn't get a breakthrough, and then Meta smashed, and then Microsoft smashed, and then Amazon smashed, and then the market went crazy. Well, surprise, it's probably going to happen again, right? But you don't have to be the first one to get in. You don't have to get in before. We've seen time and time again that you've been able to let the market make its move and then trade based on that and get that catch up. Now, if you're a long-term investor and you're buying to just buy long-term, then yeah, you're looking at it from opportunity and you're not buying with the mentality of, okay, this goes down 10% next week, I have to get out, right? There's a difference to this and there's definitely levels to this, okay? So those are things that we have to be thinking about, okay? So again, I look at Amazon, I still love it. I still think going into earnings, I like them a lot, but I'm not shoving in yet. I'm not placing my chips on the table on Amazon yet. I still like it. I'm not trading it to the downside though. I'll tell you that. Like there's not the opportunity there, right? So things to think about. Tesla earnings coming up. Dear God, like what do I say? Like, you know, Tesla, you broke I said it a few weeks ago when you broke the 200 SMA on the daily and then you broke the 200 SMA on the weekly. You know, I said you can't go long until you get back above those levels, and it's the truth. You can't. Okay. So yeah, Tesla's getting hammered. There's a possibility that we're going back down to 2022 lows down here. So, you know, keep your head on a swivel, watch it. I mean, I think opportunity could be coming for a buying opportunity as far as like getting a decent move. In the short term, I don't see the upside on Tesla. Rate cuts aren't coming just yet. Sales are hurting. They're losing money. Yeah, things short term don't look great. Keep it on your radar though. Coinbase is probably the most interesting name on my list right now, getting back above 224. Bitcoin looks really good. We already covered that. But I think Coinbase could make a rip back to the upside if the market starts to bounce as well. I also think their earnings are going to smash. I want to make that really clear. Whenever they have earnings, they're going to probably destroy. Okay. So things I'm interested in, that's what I'm watching here going into tomorrow. If you have questions, comment down below. Have some stuff posted on Twitter later. So have a good one, guys. I appreciate it. Follow for more content and, appreciate you guys.